Hey you guys, it's Mrs. Blue, back with another art lesson. You can find me on YouTube at Mrs. Blue, Let's Make Some Art. You can email me at jlpick@cps.edu. If you email me pictures of your completed projects, you might have a chance of winning, dun, 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 the virtual golden paintbrush. So today's golden paintbrush winner, get ready. Is my dear, sweet Alexandra. Alexandra is an amazing artist. Look at that minion she created. It is pretty fancy. Good work, Alexandra. And your face in that picture is kind of incredible, and I have a feeling you drew your minion to look just like your face, or made your face to look just like your minion, which is pretty clever and incredible. Alexander, keep creating art because you're pretty good at it. Okay, so with that said, today we are going to do I like to call it kind of like a Dr. Seuss project that looks like this when completed. Now, on this example, my sweet kids, I did lots of additional shading. So I added in lots of black shading with colored pencils to really make it look like edges curve in. And I used colored pencils on this one. I even took some white colored pencil when I was done to color on the top to make it look like the middle stuck out. However, you don't have to put in this much work unless you really want to. And I wanted to because I think it looks pretty amazing. But here's an example without the black and white shading. And I mean, come on, it still looks pretty great. So you don't have to do black and white shading or even outline everything in black Sharpie, which I did on this one. So you can see kind of the different looks depending on what you use. I did use crayons on this one, colored pencils on this one, so you can kind of see the difference. So I'm going to teach you step by step how to make this kind of Dr. Seuss inspired art or like crazy art. Okay, so what you need today, my dears, as always, is a piece of paper like this, a pencil, and an eraser. And here's how we start. You start by drawing a line in the middle that is slightly curvy. So this is a do not. You do not want to draw your middle line like this. It will be very tricky in a minute when we start step 2. So instead, you want to draw your line, generally speaking, in the middle. You can just eyeball it. That means just look with your eyes and make it close enough. And then you're going to draw a relaxed, wavy line, like so, in the middle of your paper. Okay, now we're going to fill our paper with vertical wavy lines. Now this is when you can get a little bit crazy. Don't make them all the same. You want to make them slightly different. So maybe this line, I'll start here and I'll make it go like this. But maybe this line, I will go like this. Then this line, maybe I'll start in. See how I'm kind of making each of them different? That's going to make your artwork super splendid and amazing. If you make them all the same, it won't turn out quite as nice. We are going to erase the middle line, so don't make this line very dark. These lines you can make as dark as you want. I always say draw light first, then you can make things dark later. See how I'm kind of vary my lines a little bit so they look slightly different, each of them? Okay, so there we go. That's it. Now comes the sort of tricky part. In order to make this look very three-dimensional, you really want your lines to curve that we're about to make. If you make them too flat, your art won't look curvy enough. So here's the trick. I'll start in the middle so it's a little bit easier to see. Anywhere above this middle curvy line, we want to curve up. Anywhere below this middle curvy line, we want to curve down. Okay, watch me. So I'm going to go from this edge to this corner. I'm only focusing on this space right here. And I'm going to curve up. Now I'm going to skip a little bit of space, and I'm going to curve up until I touch the other side. This one could have been more curvy, look. Now I'm going to curve, curve, curve. Make nice hills. Don't be afraid to make your hills exaggerated. The second your hills start to look like this, erase them and make them more like this, right? Anywhere above this middle line, we go up. Then below means down. I should erase that one and do it again, right? That was a bad example. Curve up. Okay, now below the line, we want to curve down, like so. Down. Nice and curvy. Some people like to flip their paper to do this side because they find it's easier to move their pencil in an upward motion. That is certainly fine. Or you can leave it like this and go in a downward motion. Your choice. So I'm filling in each of these curves downward because I'm below this middle line. Okay, now you can continue until you have filled in all of your spaces and your art looks like this. That's kind of the hard part. Then if you want to be real particular, you can take a black marker and you can trace all of these lines with a black marker. And it really, as you know, makes them stand out. But that's your choice. Now, back to my examples. On this example, you can see that I chose 2 colors per column. So light green and dark green, orange and red, pink and purple, 2 shades of blue. 2 colors, and then I used a pattern. On this example, I chose 4 colors total. I used these 2 colors here, blue and purple, and then greens here. Only 4 colors total. So it is up to you how you want to color it. I do recommend using only 2 colors per column. So don't use more than 2 colors or it will get too confusing. I like to turn my paper this way when I color. So I like to color like this. I like to outline the space first and then color it in. And I always find that the harder you press when you're coloring, the fancier your final artwork will look. I don't recommend skipping a space and continuing to color with this crayon. I have seen too many artists make a mistake when they do that and accidentally leave a few spaces. So I do recommend just switching back and forth and back and forth. Otherwise, you might find yourself making a mistake. And once you color a space, it's kind of hard to fix your mistake. Kids tell me all the time that you can erase crayon, and you can, but it tends to ruin your eraser because crayons are made out of wax. And when you erase crayon, you're just filling your eraser with wax, and it tends to ruin the eraser. So you can see what I'm doing, pretty simple. Then, if you want to get real fancy-like when you're done, I'm going to zoom in close. You can always take a black crayon and you can add just a little bit of shading right here in this crack. And right over here in this crack, just a little bit of shading. So that when you're done, oh, look at that when I back up. Do you see how just that little bit of black shading suddenly made it go and just pop? All right, so let me go back to my originals. Take a look at these 2, and you can pause the screen and you can decide how you would like to color yours. Pretty psychedelic and awesome, you guys. So that's our lesson today. I hope you enjoyed it and have fun creating your magical squiggly lines. Maybe that's what I'll call it. magical squiggly line artwork. All right, you guys, have a great day. I miss